evening and welcome to SVG-TV's news and for Friday, September 20th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has seen its food import bill increase by more than $70 million since 2020. This rise comes as the Ministry of Agriculture aims to reduce the food import bill by 25% by 2025, which is just a year away. Speaking at the launch of the Zero Hunger Trust Fund Food Security Drive on Thursday, Minister of Finance Camilla Gonsalves noted that the COVID-19 pandemic and natural disasters have significantly contributed to the rising import bill, which has severely impacted the agriculture and the fisheries sectors.
So every time the farmer tried to get back on his or her feet, they were knocked down again by another challenge not of their making. And that had significant impacts on our food import bill. So I said, between 2011 and 2020, our food import bill was about $200 million. Then suddenly, the year after the volcano, our food import bill was $240 million. Never been that high. And then it went to $275 million. So between the beginning of COVID and 2023, a food import bill that was always around $200 million was suddenly $275 million. That is testimony to the impact of these disasters on the farmers and fishers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Minister Gonsalves also noted that the influx of new hotels has further added to the demand, contributing to the increase in the country's food imports bill.
The good news, bad news side, we get a massive hotel opened in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Sandals Resort. And precisely at the time when farmers should have been able to take advantage of this new market, they had been knocked back by the volcano and the drought and the hurricanes. So Sandals themselves add to our food import bill. So when I say we reach up to $285 million, that's not all Vincentians eating for Vincentians. Some of that is also hotels bringing in money, bringing in food that they would not otherwise have to bring in because our local farmers would have been able to supply them.
Fruits and vegetables top the list of imported items, with Minister Gonsalves pointing out that the high prices in supermarkets are significantly affecting the food security in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Fruit and vegetable up 20%. Cereals up 6% and meat up 3%. The very things that you expect to be destroyed by a volcano, your fruit and vegetable, your banana, your plantain, your tomato, they're gone. But we still need to eat them. So what do? We import them. And we waste valuable foreign exchange in bringing in food that we could make for ourselves. And that has an impact on food security. Any of you walk into Massey or Graves, you see some things in the vegetable section that make you step back. You see the price of 2 tomatoes or a couple of sweet pepper or some cucumber. And he said, boy, let me try the other supermarket. Maybe a fella selling opposite outside of Graves by the tarmac. Let me see what he's selling for. But everybody's selling for the same thing. And that is when you get to the issue and get to the heart of what food security is. Because food security is a nice term, but what you're really talking about is healthy food at affordable prices.
The increased food import bill is also evident across most countries in the Windward Islands, according to the OECS Food Tracker. Support for farmers will continue next week as the Ministry of Agriculture plans to distribute another $2 million in vouchers. This announcement was made by Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar yesterday at the launch of the Zero Hunger Trust Fund Security Drive.
Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we are going to give out $2 million in vouchers to go to the input warehouse for persons to buy seeds and implements. And that's why I did not go to the input warehouse for seeds, because your seeds will be gone next week when the farmers come in. So there are persons who will be establishing platforms for the production of vegetables on their farms, but this is specifically targeting homes.
Last month, 219 Arrowroad farmers were the first to receive production support. Meanwhile, the minister stated that a launch event will be held in North Leeward, targeting at least 200 vegetable farmers.
In the constituency of North Leeward, we are going to have a special launch with over 200 vegetable farmers, because for those of us who know Mariacoa Valley, Mariacoa is known for dasheen. It's a food basket known for dasheen. A lot of persons on the windward side, bananas and plantains. But North Leeward is known for vegetables.
Minister of Tourism Carnival James has emphasized the negative impact that low production from local farmers is having on the tourism sector. He noted that while St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not alone in facing the issues of low supply and demand, it remains a significant concern that must be addressed. The minister raised this issue at the launch of the Zero Hunger Trust Fund Food Security Drive yesterday.
32% of the food demand in the tourism sector is met locally across the OECS, 32%. So it means that there is room for growth and for us to supply and provide more food to the tourism sector to help reduce our food import bill. So we have to grow more. We have to sustain our food chain in terms of our supply. And we have to ensure that the food that is available is accessible and affordable to people in this country.
The minister also acknowledged the vital role farmers play in the preventing food shortages.
Actually, most of what our numbers are showing are these imports are going directly to the tourism sector, the hotel and tourism sector. And we have to look at how we can grow more and put in place a systematic approach of demand and supply. There's a shortage of food right now. By November, December, the hotels are going to be filled. They're going to buy whatever is available locally in the market. They want fresh produce. That is going to have that adverse effect on your ability to access food, and food at a reasonable price in the supermarkets and the vegetable markets across the country.
Minister James praised the Zero Hunger Trust Fund and the Ministry of Agriculture for their initiative to boost production. A health fair and a fitness walk will be held tomorrow, Saturday, September 21st, by the Ministry of Health as part of activities to celebrate Caribbean Wellness Month 2024. On Radio Today, Health Promotions Officer Max Horn stated that the health fair and the fitness walks are aimed at the healthcare workers and their families who play a vital role in the healthcare system.
Really targeting our healthcare workers. And we know sometimes we as healthcare workers, we always focus on the public, and the public is always first and they are our priority, rightly so. But so this time around, we want to target the healthcare workers because we believe that we can't pour from an empty glass or empty cup, as the saying goes. And so we are trying to target the healthcare workers to show appreciation to them and some love to them, and to ensure that they are making informed decisions about their own health.
Health Promotions Officer Shadil Williams added that the health fair promotes a supportive environment for healthcare workers and their families by encouraging them to prioritize their health.
We seek to empower persons to make informed decisions about their own health, especially our healthcare workers, since they are our anchors, like Max said. So we want to show them our appreciation so that they know that they are our priority, because without them, we don't really have a healthcare system. Also, we want to raise an awareness to the importance of collaborations and positive influence, and which would also strengthen the community action. Lastly, we also want to promote supportive environments so that our healthcare workers can make healthier choices themselves, so that this would not be a hard option for them. It would become, making healthier choices would become very easier for our healthcare workers, since we want this to be a lifestyle and not just an action.
Tomorrow's health fair, which will take place at the Victoria Park starting at 2 p.m., will include health screenings and fun activities for healthcare workers and their families. Minister of Tourism and Culture emphasizes the need for more support from the corporate community towards sports and culture. Minister of Tourism and Culture Carlos James has emphasized the need for more support from corporate community towards sports and culture, particularly for Vinci Mas. Minister James made this appeal while addressing the prize-giving ceremony for the winners of the 2024 festival on Wednesday at Victoria Park.
Apart from the NLA, our corporate community, we have an important obligation and a role to support sports and culture. It's part of that corporate social responsibility. And without your contribution and your willingness to partner with the CDC, there will be no Vinci Mas. And if you don't support in a fulsome way, in the way in which we're hoping you will continue to give support to the CDC. You look at some of the components of Vinci Mas, Pankai Mas, the Calypsos. You look at the mass men and women and the mass bands. It is not cheap to build out and to buy raw material to build out the kind of things that we're seeing and the level of creativity that is coming from them. And we're asking you to continue. When you support the CDC, you're not just supporting the board, Ricky and the board and the CEO, but you're supporting the components of Vinci Mas, the traditional components. And that is why your sponsorship, your commitment is important to our holistic development in the creative economy.
James took the opportunity to thank the Carnival Development Corporation for its efforts over the years in building the Vinci Mas product.
He's doing a remarkable job as the chairman, and despite many of the challenges he has endured over these years, he has remained resolute, and his love and commitment to the stakeholders. That is why he's doing this. I want to thank him. We don't thank these people enough. You'll hear a lot of the criticisms, but what they have to work with in terms of resources in creating what you see, they are doing a very good job, and I want to commend them. And this year, I strengthened the board and gave Ricky the support, a lot more support. Brought in a lot of fresh faces, young and enterprising people who are involved and interested in the creative economy, but who are also professionals who can stand out on their own. And they were able to convince the cabinet this year when you came to the cabinet and we said, let us put together a proposal to provide an increase in cash prizes for the stakeholders. He didn't have to convince me, because I said I want the CDC board to do this year, and we're going to set about to do it with the team of I've added and given to Ricky. I said, let us work and see how we can do this year. And as Ricky indicated, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, valuing the contribution of our creative sector and the stakeholders that are involved, we decided we're going to put the resources and invest it in you, the stakeholders in culture.
Minister James also informed the gathering that with support from Saudi Arabia, the government will be investing over 27 million EC dollars for the first time in the development of culture and artistic hubs across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This investment will also include other important initiatives aimed at strengthening the creative economy.
When we are relocating the commercial cargo port to Bottom Tongue, enough space is going to be there. And we have agreed in principle as a government to continue the expansion of our cruise terminal and the cruise port, where we can expand the area not only as a duty-free zone with shops and restaurants and varying complexes, but also to provide a home for the creative arts right here in capital city Kingston. This is what this government is busy doing, negotiating and focusing on investing the resources in and putting in place to impact and enhance the creative economy and to benefit you as cultural stakeholders.
Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves, who also addressed the Carnival Development Corporation's prize-giving ceremony, congratulated all stakeholders involved in Vincimas 2024. He reminded the gathering of the purpose of CDC, emphasizing it is not an agency that operates above stakeholders.
Stakeholders in all the components of Carnival are, in fact, the heart, the soul, and the mind of the CDC. So when I hear people say, well, the CDC do this and the CDC do that, and they don't like it, and I hear stakeholders make that complaint, I ask them the simple question: when did you abandon your responsibility for being part of the CDC? And they say, what do I mean? I say, but you're represented on the CDC. Every single stakeholder entity, all the components, everyone is represented on the CDC. And the CDC, decision-making body, cannot make decisions which the components oppose, because you have the voice on the CDC. You are integral to the organization of the Carnival Development Corporation. It's not alien to you. You are part of it.
The Prime Minister urged stakeholders to remain united with the CDC and collaborate to enhance the Vincimas product.
So if you have representatives on the board of the CDC and they are not representing you, well, you as the component, you must do something about it. You must have them at your assembly, at your meetings, and you give them instructions as to what you want to be represented at the CDC board. But you can't not give them instructions, and you can't not have dialogue with your representatives and then say it is the fault of Ricky or the executive director. You are part of it. And please, let us change for the Carnival going forward. This us against them. Because the Carnival Development Corporation was created for the stakeholders and for the industry and for the country. It wasn't created for a handful of persons who hold an executive position. It has never been.
In other news, Miss SVG contestant number 2 Gloucester is actively preparing for the big event on October 5th. She stated that she is not leaving any room for shortcomings that could put her at a disadvantage in winning the Miss SVG crown 2024.
Like, there's room for improvement. Also, like as they always say, there are still room for improvement, and you can never work hard enough. You always have more stuff and more tasks to complete. And even though I feel like I am ready, I still want to practice every day to ensure that all of my segments are well executed, especially talent, because I am always told you can be consistent in the other segments, but when it comes to talent, especially an interview, you have to ace it. The talent has to be executed well. I really look forward to my talent because it's very unique. It has never been done before. So yeah.
Gloucester, who has taken on the portfolio of Minister of Youth, said that she has positively impacted many lives through her community project, engaging in numerous empowerment initiatives. As a customer contact agent at the Argyle International Airport, Gloucester has big plans to continue her empowerment work once she becomes Miss SVG.
Should I win Miss SVG? I want to win because I want to impact the lives of young women. Just to mention, just to backtrack a bit, with my community service project, I created a women empowerment club called Women of Tomorrow. And winning Miss SVG, I want to impact the lives of young women across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want to share my journey with them, and I want to be a motivation for them. I want to motivate them, and I want to be a role model for them. I believe winning this pageant, I would use the platform that I have, I would use it to boost young women in my community, not just my community, but St. Vincent on the whole. But of young women right now who feel discouraged, who don't really love themselves that much, and who just need someone to be there for them. And that is what I want to do. I want to empower women.
Gloucester noted that there are many positive takeaways from participating in the Miss SVG pageant, but advises young girls interested in entering the pageant to start preparing at a young age.